Hey guys, so my last Tarkov PC build guide dropped back in December 2024. Relatively speaking, that's not very long ago, but in the world of PC hardware and Tarkov updates, it feels like a lifetime. Today in July 2025, we're revisiting that guide with fresh recommendations to get the best performance out of your system. Let's get into it. When it comes to building a PC for Tarkov, the first thing I'll say is this: X3D is king. If you're not on an X3D chip, you're probably leaving frames on the table, and it's just that simple. The second thing is figure out your budget. How much you want to spend is going to shape every other decision. And third, think about how you actually want to play. Are you the type of person that wants to max your graphics out, or you just want the best FPS possible, or somewhere in between? With all of that in mind, I've broken down my recommendations into 4 tiers. Gold, which is the best bang for your buck. Platinum, which is a strong mid-range option. Titanium, this is what I'm going to call the meta build. And Unobtainium, this is just the overkill build, going top dog in every category because you can. So pick your target and let's dive into the builds. So let's start with the gold build. This is what I consider the best bang for your buck. You're going to get very strong Tarkov performance at a very reasonable price. The 5700 X3D is still the budget king. Its price has crept up a bit as stock has dried up, but even now it's hard to beat the return you get from what's basically the younger brother of the original X3D chip, the 5800 X3D. And if you can get your hands on a 5600 X3D, that's an even better deal, but the availability is pretty limited on those. These days, even an entry-level GPU might cost you up to $400. That feels pretty high for an entry-level card, but that's just where the market is today. So if you're trying to stretch your dollar, the used market is your best friend. You can regularly find a used 2070 Super for under $200, and at that price, I think it's a great value for 1080 and even 1440 with upscaling. Even if you're on a basic A520 motherboard, you can still undervolt the 5700 X3D using PBO2 tuner. For memory, I've chosen 32 gigabytes of DDR4 at 3200 CL16. This is going to be good enough for Tarkov. If you want to get even better frame time stability, you can move up to 64 gigs, but that will increase your cost. For storage, I've chosen the Team Group MS30 512 gig NVMe. Cooling the CPU is a solid budget air cooler, the Thermalright Assassin X. For the case in this build, I went with the Cooler Master Q300L. I think it's a really nice case, and it has a really nice price to go along with it. For the PSU, I've chosen the Thermaltake Smart BX1. This is a 650 watt PSU with an 80 plus bronze rating. In total, you can build this entire system for around $724 in the US. I recently benchmarked my 5700 X3D and averaged right around 100 FPS on streets, which I think is really solid for this price point. Next up, we've got the Platinum build. This is a sweet spot for a lot of Tarkov players. You're getting incredible performance without going full wallet meltdown. This build will give you high FPS and smooth gameplay and leave room for upgrades down the line. At the heart of this build is the Ryzen 7 7800 X3D, one of the best gaming CPUs out there, the second best CPU for Tarkov right now behind the 9800 X3D. It's still an absolute monster for Tarkov thanks to its massive L3 cache. The GPU here is a PNY RTX 5070 with the Triple Fan cooler. With these new GPUs and the high prices, I don't think it's worth paying a couple hundred extra for a different model, because you might as well just go up a tier to a 5070 Ti at that point. The 5070 delivers excellent 1440 performance, it's power efficient, it stays cool, and this is the perfect card for 1440 native gaming. The motherboard is an ASRock B650M HDVM2. It's a budget-friendly AM5 board that has great value. For memory, I've got 64 gigs of Crucial Pro DDR5. With patch 0.16, RAM usage has shot up significantly. While 32 gigs is adequate, if you want more stable frame times and better lows, then I'd recommend going with 64 gigs like I've shown here. For storage, I've got a 1TB Corsair MP600 Elite M2. And for cooling, I've got the Thermalright Peerless Assassin, one of the best air coolers you can get for the price right now. Because the 7800 X3D runs so cool, between this and an AIO, you probably wouldn't see much of a difference. For the case, I'm going with the B-Gears B Pellucid M-ATX case. To improve cooling even further, I'm adding a 3-pack of Iceberg thermal ice scale fans. Really great value on these fans, and they look nice too. For the PSU, I've chosen the Gigabyte UD850GM. It's a modular 850 watt unit with an 80 plus gold rating. For around $1,500, the Platinum build will give you high performance in 1440 native with high graphics settings, and you can even kick up to 4K with upscaling. And now we're on to the Titanium tier. This is what I'd call the meta build for Tarkov in 2025. This setup gives you the highest FPS possible without going full overkill. If you want consistent performance on all maps, including streets, with headroom for multitasking, recording, streaming, this is the one you want. At the core of this build is the Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Right now, this is the best gaming CPU on the market. It builds on what made the 7800X3D so dominant and just cranks everything higher. This is the best CPU for Tarkov, hands down, no matter the map or conditions. For the GPU, we're going with the Sapphire Pulse RX 9070 XT. This delivers insane 1440 performance with high graphics settings and can even hold its own at 4K if you use FSR. For a Tarkov rig, I think this is the perfect match. It's very powerful without being overkill. The motherboard is a Gigabyte X870 gaming Wi-Fi. It's got everything you need for a high performance AM5 build. For memory, we've got 64 gigs of G.Skill Flare X5 DDR5 rated at 6000 CL30. For storage, I've got a Samsung 990 Pro 2TB NVMe here. To cool the CPU, I've chosen the Thermalright Aqua Elite 240mm AIO. This will keep the 9800X3D extra cool and it'll probably stay silent even under load. Housing everything is an Antec C8 wood case. It's got a really nice aesthetic and can fit pretty much anything you throw at it. To get better airflow, we're running a 3-pack of Be Quiet Lightwings LX 120mm fans. And just like the Platinum tier, we're sticking with the Gigabyte UD850GM 850 watt PSU. If you're serious about Tarkov, this is the meta build right here. With this build, I was getting around 140 to 160 average on streets, and that's the floor for FPS because every other map is going to run better. And finally, we've got the Unobtainium build. This is the overkill build where you're just going all out, picking the most expensive, best-in-class components just because you can. So performance will not scale linearly with the price here. There's going to be a sharp drop-off in ROI, but that's expected when you're pushing into the absolute high end. So for the CPU, I've got a 9950X3D. AMD's flagship gaming CPU. In terms of gaming performance, it's not going to be any better than the 9800X3D, but since this is the overkill build, we're going with the biggest, baddest chip that AMD has. The GPU is the Asus ROG Astral 5090 OC. For the motherboard, we're going with the Gigabyte X870E Aorus Extreme AI TOP. It's got all the bells and whistles you could ever possibly want. For RAM, we've got 96 gigabytes of DDR5 at 6800 CL34. Storage, we've got a 4 terabyte Sabrent Rocket 5. This is an insanely fast PCIe Gen 5 drive. For cooling, we've got the beautiful Trix Panorama SE360 AIO. This thing has an AMOLED screen on the pump, just looks insane. For the case, I've chosen the Lee & 011 Dynamic Evo, and we're gonna fill it out with the 3-pack of Lee & LCD fans with customizable screens on each fan. Powering this beast is a Be Quiet Straight Power 12 1500 watt PSU, fully modular, platinum rated, so it's ready for whatever you want to throw at it. So yeah, this build is not for most people. This is for the 0.1% out there, but if you want the best of everything, zero compromises, this is the one you want. So there you have it. Those are my top recommended builds for Tarkov in 2025. If this video helped you decide on parts, please consider using the affiliate links in the video description when you go to buy. It's a simple way to support the channel and it really helps me keep making content like this. For those of you who are looking to upgrade your systems, if you're coming from an Intel 12th gen or older, even the gold tier will give you a noticeable bump in performance. If you're on a 13th or 14th gen Intel, you'll want to aim for the titanium tier or higher to really feel a difference. AM4 users, the gold build is your sweet spot, especially if you're jumping from something like a 3600 or 5600. And if you're on a vanilla Ryzen 7000 or 9000 chip, you'll start seeing worthwhile gains once you hit the platinum tier. Across all these builds, one thing stays the same. Your CPU is the most important piece of hardware in your build. It sets the ceiling for your Tarkov FPS, and I've matched each tier with balanced parts to get the most out of that CPU. But feel free to tweak and customize based on your needs or what deals you might find. As for GPUs, Tarkov's really flexible on that end. You can run it on just about anything, and you can kind of adjust your resolution and settings to match what your CPU can handle, and you're good to go. If you've got questions or want help with the build, feel free to reach out in my Discord. I'm always down to chat and troubleshoot. I also have a one-on-one optimization consultation service for tier 3 YouTube members, so check that out if you're interested. But yeah, pick your tier, build your rig, and when you're ready, make sure to check out my Tarkov optimization guide to fine-tune your setup even further. Thanks for watching and good luck out there. I'll see you in the next one.